I am using NotebookLM, and the video is completely made using AI. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're completely tearing up the old rulebook on how to retire early. If your goal is true financial independence, that traditional path, it's just failing you. So let's open our notebooks and start sketching out the modern blueprint for escaping the traditional grind. Okay, let's dive right into this by confronting the psychological weight of what I call the 9-to-5 suit. For generations, we are basically hardwired to believe that a steady job was the ultimate safety net. But is it really? We have to ask ourselves if those old rules still protect us when inflation is aggressively outpacing our wage growth and AI is systematically automating rules we used to think were completely secure. You literally see this core conflict play out at kitchen tables everywhere. One person is clinging to the old belief, thinking safety only lives in that steady monthly paycheck. But the other person, the modern creator looking toward true financial independence, well, they know the new reality. Real safety actually lies in equity, smart leverage, and specialized AI-driven insights. Getting free means understanding structural capital flows, not just trading your hours for dollars. Consider this our orchestrator's playbook. Today we're covering 1. The broken retirement trap. 2. The 2026 financial blueprint. 3. AI as the new alpha. 4. Training your financial twin. And finally 5. The 4-year AI sprint. Section 1. The broken retirement trap. Let's see exactly how the traditional retirement model has fundamentally fractured. Seriously, jot this down. Relying on a 25-year timeline is just no longer a viable strategy for building wealth. Those traditional models were built for an era that is totally extinct. Like we just touched on, inflation is eating up purchasing power way faster than wages can keep up. And AI is coming for those safe jobs. And this creates an immense psychological weight. We have this tragic image of the broken man at the kitchen table, stressed out over bills, just trapped in that 9-to-5 suit. To retire early, we've got to shift our mindset from that broken participant to a modern orchestrator. Moving on to Section 2, the 2026 financial blueprint. This is the catalyst for our solution, focusing on some massive structural shifts in the Indian financial ecosystem. Look, if we want to orchestrate our independence, we absolutely have to follow the smart money. According to the Economic Survey, household financial savings are aggressively shifting. People are running away from traditional debt, which is now down to the 20% mark, and they're pouring capital into market-linked equities at 45% and mutual funds at 35%. Early retirees are riding this exact wave of structural capital flow rather than trying to fight against it. Now, the real game changer here is a complete regulatory revolution by SEBI. Effective January 1st, 2026, real estate investment trusts, or REITs, get reclassified overnight. They go from being treated as hybrid or debt-related instruments to being officially classified as equity-related. What does that mean for us? Well, mutual funds can now treat them as core equity, and by July 2026, they become eligible for broader equity index inclusion. That is a massive, massive structural shift in how capital is going to flow. Understanding these highly disciplined, institutional-grade changes is literally the foundation for your wealth legacy. It's what we're calling the Rupees 1 Core Plus legacy. You've got to tune out the speculative noise and focus on these massive flows. For instance, the Bagman Prime Office REIT IPO launched with a projected yield of 6.2%, and that's rising to 7.5% by FY30. Plus, with the new Income Tax Act of 2025, share buybacks are now treated as capital gains. These are the powerful mechanics of early retirement, actually in action. All right, Section 3, AI as the new alpha. Now that we have the environment mapped out, we need our engine. Let's talk about using AI not as a threat, but as your ultimate advantage. The way we capture alpha, that market outperformance everyone is chasing, it has completely changed. We aren't just guessing anymore. And we aren't using basic sentiment analysis, like counting how many happy or sad words show up in an earnings report. Instead, we're leveraging transformer-based large language models. These models decode actual deep financial context. Like older models used to flag the word fixed as a negative during a market downturn, completely missing the context of the phrase fixed income. Transformers solve this because they actually understand the precise relationships between words. The numbers on this are just incredibly revealing. When you try to predict post-earnings market reactions, general AI models fall completely flat. GPT 3.5 scored around 0.32, and GPT-4 only hit about 0.42. But a proprietary systematic model designed specifically for financial context, that scores around 0.65. This proves exactly why you need specialized proprietary models to extract those differentiated insights and keep a massive information advantage. So here's how you actually apply that advantage in the real world. You target alpha in areas like the Indian mid-cap market. We've got a couple of case studies here. Imagine entering Sagility at 42 rupees because you had AI monitoring healthcare sector shifts, or getting into Cupid Limited at 112 rupees by tracking specialized manufacturing cycles. But the absolute key to accelerating your early retirement is smart leverage, things like using the margin trading facility via platforms like Crore. Now, because margin trading involves borrowed money and higher risk, AI acts as your vital safety net. It's your guardrail, actively monitoring volatility to prevent margin calls while you capture these unique entry points without taking on blind risk. Section 4. Training your financial twin. How exactly do you make that leap from a passive investor relying on a boss to an active orchestrator? Let's get into it. This right here is where the magic happens for true financial independence. You are no longer just opening up an app and prompting an AI with some basic questions. The modern creator is actively training the AI to become a highly specialized proxy. You are basically cloning your own investment thesis and your personal risk tolerance into an automated system. And the best part? It works while you sleep, literally buying back your time. Here is the exact workflow for building that twin. Step 1 is ingestion. You feed hard data like the 2026 union budget and corporate earnings calls directly into your own private, secure language model. It's essentially a walled-off brain just for your data. Step 2 is fine-tuning, where you narrow the AI's focus away from all that global macroeconomic noise down to specific Indian market tickers. And step 3 is the result. You now have a custom financial agent that identifies entry and exit points way faster than a human analyst ever could. And finally, Section 5, the 4-year AI sprint. Let's look at how we can entirely accelerate your timeline to freedom. The contrast here is just staggering. On one side, you have the 25-year traditional grind, slowly saving your pennies, watching inflation completely erode your wealth, and relying totally on an employer's timeline for your own life. On the other side, you have the electrifying 4-year AI sprint, using leveraged capital, proprietary AI insights, and active orchestration to fast-track your wealth creation. By applying these specialized tools, you literally bypass decades of the traditional grind. It really comes down to a complete transformation of your identity. You're stepping up from that broken man image to become the orchestrator. Instead of being managed by a boss, you are the one managing AI agents. And by doing this, you aren't just building wealth. You are building freedom and reclaiming your time simultaneously. The economic survey points out this opportunity to harness the longevity dividend, the reality that we're living longer, healthier lives. But you can only truly enjoy that extended health span if you have the financial well-being and the freedom of time to actually back it up. I really want you to write this quote down at the very bottom of your notes because it is the absolute ultimate realization of this entire explainer. The technology is amazing, sure, but it's just the vehicle. At the end of the day, we aren't just decoding AI. We are decoding our own independence. The blueprint for early retirement and absolute financial independence is right here. The capital flows are shifting, the AI tools are primed and ready, and the 4-year sprint is entirely possible for you. So, the only question left is this. Will you stay trapped in that 9-to-5 suit, or are you ready to become the orchestrator of your own financial twin? The blueprint is in your hands now. What's your next move going to be?